Hello, good afternoon. My name is Julibert Garcia Paz. I study in Latin American University in 7th quarter. This project is for teaching practice 4. Now my topic is explain about the observer, who is observer in a classroom, and his role. Okay? For this, I share you my presentation. Is my presentation. C. Observation classroom. Observer and role. But first of this topic, you have to define, okay? You have to define what is observation. And classroom observation is a teaching, acquired, and research technique is understood as an activity whose purpose is the most important is collect evidence about the aspect involved in the teaching and learning process in the context. Okay? The most important is improve and for teaching experience for our students. But so, for this topic, you need qualitative and instrument to register evidence. This technique involves several strategies for data collection, such as, for example, checklists. Okay, it's most important that you define your instrument for this evaluation. Checklist, observation guide, interview, teacher and student to collection of documents of evidence, and audiovisual record. So, why do you observe? First, it's essential to have a defined purpose for observation. Okay, all process you need objective goal. In this case, in this process, we need a specific objective of the systematization of analysis for this type of observation. Okay, and this practice is important to gather information on the pedagogical practices of teacher and manage to determine, among other aspects, the existence of gaps between the curriculum, educational, and the implementation of this curriculum. But, for example, we need our program, okay? And you do your planning, or lesson planning. But for this observation, it's important the relationship between this. For example, your curriculum, educational, and the implementation. This is the paper official for the teacher. So, what do you observe? How do you observe? Okay, you need to observe in a classroom the emotional climate. Okay, what is the perception for the classroom, for the student, or what is the attitude to the teacher when he or she teach. Second, teachers' perception of the causes on the performance student, high or low expectation. Okay, and number three, management of pedagogical practices addressing diversity without aggregation, with monitoring and ongoing evaluation. It's so important, okay, that to prepare your evaluation, because as a teacher we need define your purpose, your objective, okay, your lesson plan to go to this objective. And right now you have to monitor it, not just the first lines of your classroom and you in front of the board every moment. No, you need work and monitoring and complement this knowledge and learning to your student. Okay, but who is an observer? What is the person that have to observe it? The observer, who can be part of the team of teachers in your school or supervisor, okay, has a fundamental purpose to bring teachers into professional learning situations to improve their performance. From this perspective, the observer should not make judgment, okay, but this person has to ready to generate situation or reflection in this process, okay, is accompaniment and observe feedback and modeling and training. Okay, this person need is so much important in an observation classroom. But what is the profile and what is the values that this person has to have? Number one, flexibility. Number two, understanding complex development such as the educational act. Number three, classroom experience. Okay, this person needs experience in the classroom. Someone that he or she never had experience in the classroom, he or she can this. Now, management of curricular models. This person needs to know what is the curriculum, what is the program in all subject school. Mastery of teaching and learning concepts. Okay, this person needs have to be master in the degree master. Management of the biological development of children and teens. This person needs to know how the teens think, how the children think. Now, communication skill, emphatic, self-criticism capacity. Okay, it's so important that this person be neutral. Okay, to be neutral. For example, need critical thinking and constructive for do the observations. and emphatic as the teacher or a student. Right now, say, we have some recommendations about the observation. For example, we have 3 recommendations in 3 moments. Okay, so much recommendation in 3 moments. One moment is before observation. Second moment, during the observation. And third moment, after observation. For example, the observer and the teacher have to be agree with the teacher and when, how, and why you are going to observe. Okay? According, agree. And make know the instrument to be used in observation. It's necessary that you have your instruments. For example, you check, at first we were learning that were the checklist, observation guide, and another. No, maybe you can record to think and do the observation after. Now, during the observation, you have to consider a guest in the teacher's class. Okay, you are a guest. You can interrupt the class. Okay, the teacher is the authority in the classroom. You, as observer, you are a guest. Go as notice as possible. Okay? You have to write all recommendations. Record what happens about it, making judgment as interpretation of what you observe. Okay? You have to look in deep to interpret it. What is the action of the teacher? What is the action for the student? And now, to acknowledge the collaboration of the observation. You can collaborate when you are in silence, when you don't interrupt, okay, this class. This is during observation. You have to in the classroom for the observation, but in silence and calm. After observation, the recommendation is ask and express interest in knowing the reason why the teacher took the decision to teach on to carry out especially one activity. Okay, you have to call the teacher and tell, oh, okay, teacher, come on. This is your evaluation. For me, would I like to know what is the reason for your activity? Oh, okay, the teacher answered. Because I like or my student like it, etc. No? And the final and so much important is feedback. As you observe, you need to do a feedback at final, okay? Because the purpose is improve the teaching process, more quality, but if you don't the feedback, okay, the teacher, yes, you observe the teacher, but the teacher, he or she doesn't what was the purpose. He or she doesn't what thing they have to improve. This is the reason for the finalists for this topic. You need to be real critical and constructive to do. You have 10%, 100% for this neutral, for this observation or recommendation. Remember, the final purpose is to get better on teaching practice. So, but okay, this is the final, and thank you so much for listening. Listen us today and look. Right now, this project is for the teaching practice. Okay, I hope the best of the weather, and God bless you too. Goodbye.